been a lot of conversation over the course of the last week about finger pointing and so forth.
Now, the recent flood and violence, the center of debate in Chicago. Tonight, Mayor Lori Lightfoot responds to unusual public criticism from Cook County's chief judge as Chicago's top cop talks to President Biden at the White House.
And afterward, Police Superintendent Brown touted new federal help to reduce the surge in deadly violence here. And afterward, Police Superintendent Brown touted new federal help to reduce the surge in deadly violence here. Political editor Mike Flannery has more.
After meeting with President Biden and Attorney General Merrick Garland, Superintendent Brown said both made specific pledges to help reduce the violence that so far this year has seen nearly 2,200 people shot here.
It includes additional prosecutions. It includes fast-tracking investigations on conspiracy cases. These are the people that drive violence in our cities.
Wow. Additional prosecutions. So, if you guys don't know, and I've chronicled this on this channel, so make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button as soon as you come in. Don't be prompted. Just hit the like button like they do on other channels. Also, take the $5 challenge. They've got a very liberal, very woke, very sympathetic to criminals prosecutor there in Chicago named Kim Foxx. So when he says additional prosecutions, he's just talking about just regular prosecutions. Just do it normally. They prosecute at such a low level that they just need to prosecute normally. Okay? If they prosecute their criminals at a normal, reasonable level, their crime will go down. Will it solve everything? No. I don't think anyone thinks that Chicago's going to become, some beacon city. It's not going to become Tokyo overnight. Nobody thinks that. It's never going to be Tokyo. It's always going to be. They had this problem back with the Italians, back in the 50s and the 40s. The mob. Okay? Chicago's always been gangland. But even when the mob was doing all that killing, they were killing each other. And they wasn't killing each other like that. All those movies, Al Capone and all that stuff, they was killing other gangsters, and it was not as much as you see now. One weekend in Chicago is more than all the mob did their whole time in Chicago. Pick the worst weekend. That weekend last year when I think 25 people got murdered in one weekend in Chicago, and over 20-something people got shot. That weekend was basically what the mob did probably in like a year back in the 50s and 40s. Okay? But Chicago's always been gangland. And nobody thinks that it's going to change things to the point where it's not gangland. However, y'all get the new crime bill, Jack.
It includes additional prosecutions. It includes fast-tracking investigations on conspiracy cases. These are the people that drive violence in our cities.
As Brown talked outside the White House, Mayor Lightfoot spoke to reporters here, responding to unusual public criticism from Chief Judge Timothy Evans. Over the weekend, Evans told us the mayor and Superintendent Brown were repeatedly unfair in attacking Cook County Circuit Court judges for releasing onto electronic monitoring 94 defendants facing murder charges.
Well, I want you to know that. So not only the prosecutor, but the judges did. They released 94 people with murder charges. And when you're convicted of murder in Chicago, you got bodies. Like these little killers in Chicago, they just didn't kill one person. Or wasn't just involved in one shooting. You got to understand that too, the type of people they release back onto the streets. Like, I think when we think about killing as squares and lames, as I am, I'm a lame to these dudes. As we think about it, we think about like, oh man, I got so mad that I killed somebody. No, we're talking about guys that lurk the streets, drive around in cars, patrolling neighborhoods, circling and circling until they see somebody in a neighborhood that they got a problem with and kill them. Even if it's not, if I've done, you've seen all the stories I've done. Somebody walking their dog, somebody with their kids, somebody pushing the stroller, they just shoot them. And they do this over and over again every day. Some days they don't kill people. They might go a week without killing people. They might go a month without, but they're doing this all the time. Some of the people they shoot may survive. So these are like little savages, as they call themselves. So white liberals don't get upset because the white liberal just had a heart attack. He called him a savage. White liberal. That's what they call themselves. Chill out. Take it easy. God. All right. So now that we got the white liberals off the ledge, these little savages, self-proclaimed savages, are serial killers. All right. This is what you need to know when you realize how the prosecutors and the judges work there. All of those prosecutors and all those judges in Chicago need to be dragged into the town square, flogged, and then tarred and feathered, or drawn and quartered. What they've done is tantamount to a mini genocide.
Over the weekend, Evans told us the mayor and Superintendent Brown were repeatedly unfair in attacking Cook County Circuit Court judges for releasing onto electronic monitoring 94 defendants facing murder charges.
Well, they have pointed the finger at us. We know that finger pointing doesn't work.
There's been a lot of conversation over the course of the last week about finger pointing and so forth. That's not what this is about. I don't know any community that will feel safe when people that are charged with murder that are back out into the community within 24, 48 hours of being arrested by the police department.
As much as I detest and despise Lori Lightfoot, that's a very reasonable statement. It's hard to poke holes into that statement. Hit one if you agree with me.
I don't know any community that will feel safe when people that are charged with murder that are back out into the community within 24, 48 hours of being arrested by the police department.
The president's meeting today with Superintendent Brown and other big city police chiefs and mayors underscores the political peril he faces. About half of voters in a recent Washington Post survey disapprove of the way Biden's handling the surge in urban violence. Only 38% of voters approved.
Wow. And we know Biden's a political animal. Like, he's a career politician. When he hears that 50% of people disapprove of the way he's dealing with son violence, they try to call it urban now. I like that, urban, because they know they can't call it gun violence, as if people everywhere are using guns. It's urban, which means, son violence. When he finds out, because they probably told him, he probably forgot. But when they tell him again and remind him, your approval rating on this issue is 38%. Y'all getting a new crime bill check. Coast to coast. And one thing I don't want to hear. This is one thing I don't want to hear. Give me an amen if you with me on this one. I don't want to hear honest, law-abiding, hard-working black folks that spent all year marching for George Floyd, marching for Rayshard Brooks, and making up fantasies of negative police encounters they had when they was young, knowing they some squares and never had no bad interactions with no cops. Spent all year trying to get critical race theory passed, the 1619 Project, whining the white folks look for liberal hugs, trying to make white folks think that you got it so bad, talking about oppression, screaming at cops, sharing 20-second snippet viral videos of 45-minute encounters between patient cops and psychopathic criminal suspects. Talking about how our kids and being treated unfairly and things need to change. I don't want to hear none of you law-abiding black folk complaining now when really what you guys said was happening happens. When now that there's so many cops on the street, when you come into your neighborhood after you've been working all day, and of course the local thugs who've been in the neighborhood all day because they don't work, to kill somebody, and you can't get past. You got to park 3 blocks away, 4 blocks away, and walk through yellow tape to get to your home. When they just set up a roadblock and be like, look, this neighborhood is so bad, we setting up a roadblock here. Everybody come in, we stopping all cars, asking for IDs. When you pull up in your neighborhood and it's cops parked on the corner, and they got those big lights, those big, I forgot what they called, those big lights, on the corner. When you even get pulled over for a minor offense, because there's so many cops around now. I don't want to hear no complaining from law-abiding, upstanding black folk about this crime bill that we about to get. Because that's what they did last time. They begged for the crime bill in 94. A lot of y'all don't know that. Black leaders begged for that crime bill because crime was just so bad. I was around then. I was a kid then. I was a teenager. It was bad, Jack. They begged for that crime bill the same way they're begging for it now. And when they get it, and you look at the incarceration rates in 5-10 years, and you see that African Americans make up 70-80% of the prison population, whereas now they only make up 60%. When you see that in your city, they 10 times more likely, they like stats like this. African Americans are 10 times more likely to get arrested in this city. Yeah, no shit. Look at the gun memorial. Look at the news. Your kids is downtown by the hundreds, terrorizing downtown areas. And only 6 people get arrested. And you're still, even with them doing that, you're still disproportionately arrested more than. I don't want to hear nothing about disproportionately more arrested. I don't want to hear none of that crap. Take this crime bill and love it. Hold it close. You earned it. You asked for it and you earned it. Love this crime bill. This is your crime bill.
President's meeting today with Superintendent Brown and other big city police chiefs and mayors underscores the political peril he faces. About half of voters in a recent Washington Post survey disapprove of the way Biden's handling the surge in urban violence. Only 38% of voters approved. I'm political editor Mike Flannery.